Hello again, Paul McFarland with another trip into this wonderful self-promotion pitch book. And I decided I'm going to read the whole thing to you, but one chapter at a time, because I think when you listen to these words, they're timeless. This section, number 2, is called When We Win, You Win, and Vice Versa. There's a running theme in here that talks about a relationship with a client that a creative agency, so-called, generally never did. It was always about the work, but this is about the relationship, because when you're a creative focused agency of any kind, one of the hardest things to do is to get clients and keep them. And they knew that. So I'm going to read this section, When We Win, You Win, and Vice Versa. And what I learned a long time ago, lower the dots on the eyes. When we win, you win. And vice versa. Think about this for your business and see if you can say this. Despite the previous suggestion, we know that you can't take the time to evaluate all the work of all the agencies you might consider hiring. Oh. Fortunately, you don't have to, because much of that task has already been accomplished. Oh. By expert juries who judge leading national and international advertising award competitions. And if you reviewed and tallied the findings of those juries, you discover an interesting fact. Oh, we can talk about this for sure. Chiat Day earns more awards per client than any other major ad agency in the world. That's right, the world. Regardless of agency size and number of clients or budget spent. See the chip on the shoulder shows? I love it. Which naturally leads to that load of manure advertising's also-rans are fond of spreading. You know, the stuff about how winning awards does more for an agency's ego than for an advertiser's sales and profits. In response to which, ego requires us to set the record straight. I hope someone's loving this. Using as examples a pair of our fastest growing client companies, both of which neared $1 billion in annual sales within their first dozen years in business. Both of which held number 1 and number 2 rankings on Forbes magazine lists for growth and profits. While both of which were also ranked number 1 and number 2 on Chiat Day's list of advertising award winners. With no coincidences involved. None. So much for spreading sour grapes as fertilizer. And on to a much more interesting point. One dealing with how the advertising we produce packs an extra wallop. First and foremost, because it concentrates on delivering sales results. And secondly, because it gives audiences a sense of familiarity with the company behind the message, its attitudes, special beliefs, and cultural characteristics. This was written by 1988. This 1-2 punch is what wins awards and sets our work apart, due as much to the sort of advertisers who've hired us as it is to our own contributions. To the clients. Is this a creative agency? Having our work so often described as bright, fresh, inventive, unique, intelligent, gutty, and so forth proves the point. Because advertising aside, those same quotes describe attributes that our clients share in common. This is a promotional piece about relationships. Attributes that today's readers and viewers have an uncommon respect for and actively seek. In the products they buy and the services they select, as well as in the companies they give their support to. Remember, advertising is selling. Which, depending on the respect due your own company's attributes, might be the best reason of all for hiring Chiat Day and being a winner instead of betting budgets on an also-ran. Okay, Let's talk about this. No secret. At the time this was done, Chiat was known as being an award-winning agency. They're also known as being cantankerous, argumentative, bullies, and assholes to their clients. Well, when those things get around, it can be because of what the agency people did and also the kind of clients. And sometimes the worst thing that happens when you have a client who lets you do fantastic, great work, and then they move on and get fired, and someone else comes in who is completely different. You've got a great campaign working. It's not their campaign. They want their own campaign, and, it's fascinating. In the same way World War II was fascinating. But that whole thing about what do awards mean? They were winning all the awards, and there was no social media then, thank God. That gets across the debate about what are we here to do. Awards is psychic gratification in lieu of pay, right? Hand out these pedals in lieu of pay, right? But to clients, there are clients who like them because younger and more modern CMOs are much closer to agency people than they ever used to be. Not always good, but there's ego involved on your resume, and you see how CMOs generally are not staying at a company as long as they used to, and even they used to move around a lot. It's really gotten more so. And that sense of ego and loyalty and responsibility and connection to the success of a business or a brand, using awards as a benchmark for that for the client, means they're a good fit for an agency that says we're here to sell, and awards are one way of showing that you can have it both ways. It's a protracted argument in this beautiful thing that has been around since there were ad agencies. Does the most creative work sell? Or does the most boring and hard-hitting, straight-ahead advertising sell the best? Well, the purveyors of both say ours does. Well, when you can put numbers to it, you can put dollar signs to it, it kind of helps. And it's not a perfect science, it's not even a perfect art, but it is, in my estimation, a worthy goal. A worthy goal to express who you are as a person, as a company, as an agency, or as a client, in partnership, or even as a vendor and buying it. Could you say that? Sorry about that. This is the first sneeze on my entire series of these things. So maybe that's a punctuation. A punctuation and a clearing of the respiratory system to breathe in a new idea. I hope some of you who are watching this are thinking about your own business, your own career, your own brand, your own agency, and thinking, what do we stand for? And can we back it up? What do we stand for, and can we back it up? They're doing a marvelous job, I think, in this piece. And this is language that they've kind of massaged over the years to that time. It's in direct alignment with mine when I'm consulting with brands, when I'm doing the actual advertising creative for brands or for agencies, all the people who like to work with me. Love you all. I'm voicing that by doing. I show something scary, frightening, interesting, and deeply human to prove that it will work. I've got a client right now where they're just in the launch phase, and customers are actually looking at the packaging and the product and the message. And so for all the months saying, it's going to work, it's going to work, it's going to work, and it does work when people actually are just blown away by something they've never seen before. And it brings a deeper connection, the product, the brand, the person, right? You have to be able to say it and back it up. So I'm curious, how does this resonate with you? What do you say to the world, and can you back it up? Let alone, what the hell do awards mean in 2022?